So that's my trailer. It turns out over the winter I had some leaking. And today I thought I would pull the roof off and do what I hope to be some minor repairs. Turns out inside got wet, roof semi-collapsed, and now I've got, well, a much more significant job on my hands, and I'm not ready for it. Chaos. Yay, chaos. So this morning I want to preach on the gospel reading. In the gospel reading we hear about the disciples getting a chance to hang around with Jesus the last few minutes of his time here on earth before he ascends to heaven. And in particular, the line I want to focus on, and it comes from the Gospel of Luke, is verses 52 and 53 of chapter 24. It says, and this happens after he's ascended into heaven, after he's given them his blessing, and it says he withdrew from them and was carried up into heaven. And then it says, and they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy. And they were continually in the temple blessing God. I find this really fascinating. I mean, I showed you a little clip of my trailer, and I could show you the list that I've made of all the work that I need to do in order to fix the trailer, all the work that I need to do in order to make the trailer work again. And that list helps me find my way through the chaos. I don't know if the list is complete, but at least it gives me a sense of directions. I'm going from here to here to here to here to here to finished, and I can feel okay about that. But I'm curious, putting myself in the position of these disciples. Jesus has ascended, and they go back into Jerusalem, back into the upper room where they had their Passover feast. They're still not terribly well liked by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, by the chief priest. They're still not well liked by the authorities. They're looked upon with suspicion. They're looked upon detrimentally. They're not considered the highest echelon of society. But they returned to Jerusalem with great joy, and they were continually in the temple blessing God. I find this fascinating because the way my brain works, if I had spent all this time with Jesus and then he died, I'm going to feel something. And then all of a sudden he comes back 3 days later. That's going to send me for a loop. And then after 30 or 40 days of him teaching us, he ascends to heaven right in front of me. That's going to throw me for a loop as well. I don't know how they're able to process this. I don't know how they're able to process these changes in a way that leads them to a place where they are feeling great joy and they are continually in the temple where they're not real well liked, blessing God. How is that possible? How are they not paralyzed with chaos? How are they not paralyzed with a fear of the future and what the future holds and what they're supposed to do and how it's all supposed to unfold and what it's supposed to look like and all the other millions of thoughts that run through my head when it's something as simple as a trailer? These guys aren't fixing the roof on a trailer. These guys are getting ready to establish the Church of Jesus Christ in the world. How are they able to lift their heads, let alone to do so with great joy? How are they able to eat, let alone go to the temple? How are they able to think, let alone to bless God continually? They have trust. They have trust and they have a lack of expectation. And what I mean by that is, so there's two things here. The first is they have trust. They trust that God's got this under control. See, what they've been able to witness over these last couple of months has been a series of things happening that would make a normal human being think how things are going to go. But yet with God, God's taken it and thrown everything on its head. So 1 minute they're entering Jerusalem as conquering heroes. The next minute their rabbi is being crucified and eventually dies. And then the next minute you have his resurrection. So if we walk into the city and we're conquering heroes, we should be conquering. It should end well. This is the beginning of a really good ending. We walk into the city and it ends well. Everybody's happy and we make changes and the world changes and we kick the Romans out and da 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 da. That's not what happened. What happened was Jesus was crucified. Fine, fair enough. Jesus is crucified. Okay, well, what should happen next is this movement of ours is going to die. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to be hunted down, arrested, and punished in some way because of our involvement in it. That should be how it happens. Doesn't happen that way. God raises Jesus from the dead. Fine. God raises Jesus from the dead. We're back to this victory place. Look what God did. This is an amazing thing. We're going to change the world again. Yay, shish boom ba. Good for us. Let's go. 40 days later, Jesus ascends into heaven. Okay, well, after this, the disciples are just in this place where they just trust that God has got this all under control. And they have given up trying to predict the future one way or the other. They've given up trying to figure out if something's going to work or if something's going to fail. They've given up trying to figure out if something is going to turn out good or if something is going to turn out bad. They just simply trust God and they understand that God is going to make things turn out the way God needs them to turn out. Which is what leads them to having no expectations. See, they're able to go to the temple continually praising, blessing God. They're able to go back to Jerusalem filled with joy because they don't have an expectation of what's coming next. They don't have an expectation that they are supposed to do something. They don't have an expectation that they are supposed to carry a weight. They're just simply trying to move with the current of God's energy. They've just decided that they are simply going to try. They've just decided that they are simply going to try to get on God's train and go with Him. What's it going to take for you and I to do that? What's it going to take for you and I to say, you know what? I don't know how tomorrow is going to unfold. I have no idea if tomorrow is going to go the way I think or it's going to go a different way. I have no idea what's underneath the roof of that trailer. I have no idea what I'm going to find when I pull the siding off. I have no idea what I'm going to find when I take my car to the mechanic. I have no idea what's going to happen with these restrictions that we're living within today. I have no idea what the summer is going to be like. I have no idea if my kids are going to be able to go back to school in September. I have no idea. Truth is, I have no idea. The truth is, you have no idea. And if we were able to let go of that and simply say, okay, what is, what will be, Lord, use me in whichever capacity I may best serve you, our lives would be much more peaceful and ultimately much more filled with joy. Because we would be able to take whatever comes as a gift. And if we're able to take whatever comes as a gift, we will be able to go wherever it is God calls us filled with joy. And we will be able to go into His temples and into His world continually blessing Him. And I don't know about you, but for me, that is a pretty amazing feeling. Amen. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today for this sermon. As you can tell, this is my day off, and this sermon actually came from last Sunday's service. So you can join us for services every Sunday morning. They'll be posted on YouTube, promoted through Facebook and through our webpage. You can find us on Facebook at Christchurch Shelburne News and Happenings, or you can find us on our webpage at www.christchurchshelburne.ca. We also will be posting daily reflections every day, Monday through Friday, and on Saturday I'll be posting last week's sermon for those that weren't able to see it the Sunday before. Anyway, I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you have a great day as well. God bless you. God keep you. God always make his face shine upon you. And I pray that you'll know the peace of God's presence in your life. Amen.